Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now basically the middle of April, and as we approach May 4th, which is, by the way, the release of the Bad Batch, things are going to start rolling for this new Star Wars universe by, of course, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni that are currently working on shows like Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and even the reformed version of Rangers. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, surely, ever since the Gina Carano firing, we've seen a lot of changes being applied to, of course, Lucasfilm behind the scenes, including Jon Favreau tweaking The Mandalorian Season 3, really providing some major rewrites in the mix to write out the character of Cara Dune and putting in a brand new character, or a fan favorite character, into the series that's going to take her place, in order to really make things up with the fans, right? So when we go ahead and examine, what Kathleen Kennedy has done over the past couple of years, everything ranging from what happened with The Last Jedi, Solo, and Rise of Skywalker, those are the three projects that Kathleen Kennedy truly messed up, and there's no doubt about this. Now, given that she's only working on Star Wars The Acolyte, which, by the way, is great news, because that is the only project that she will have creative control over, at least until June, when they're going to begin prepping to begin filming. They're going to begin building the sets in June, and they want to film in August of this year for The Acolyte. Now, what's really interesting about Jon Favreau, right, is that this is a hard-working man. This guy's really providing his entire life to Star Wars, essentially, working on multiple TV shows and recreating some of Star Wars legends in the mix and throwing it in the new shows, and even creating new Star Wars lore that we have never seen before in either Legends or canon. So this is a very interesting transition that Jon Favreau is in right now. Jon Favreau is really trying to satisfy the entire Star Wars fandom before our very own eyes. Now, with that being said, of course, now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are invested in developing shows like Kenobi and Ahsoka, it's best described that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are also hard at work on rewriting aspects of The Mandalorian Season 3 and even Season 4 that is being worked on back to back. It's best noted that recently Jon Favreau engaged in an interview where he was able to express his feelings toward the state of the Star Wars fandom and where it's at for the future of the franchise of what he and his partner Dave Filoni are putting together. Jon Favreau at one point in time stated that he realizes that the sequels were not for everybody and how it had a negative impact on the Star Wars world. Favreau goes on to say that he actually begs the fans to sit tight to see what he and Dave have planned for the Mandalorian seasons and even Ahsoka. Jon Favreau continues to state that he really hopes fans stick around for their future shows because of how much they are going to respect George Lucas's work and his vision of what all things Star Wars truly stands for. Favreau goes on to state that for the fans to please hang tight for what Dave Filoni is creating as well with Star Wars Ahsoka, and that many fan favorite characters are on their way to be expanded in this new show that will eventually connect to others that will be announced in the near future. Additionally, aside from all of this, it's best noted that behind the scenes Jon Favreau is in a bit of a panic mode, that the fandom has given up on his work, and even Dave Filoni's work, with of course The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, and that he and Dave are going above and beyond to help the fans be satisfied overall around the entire globe. Now, of course, we do know that Kathleen Kennedy has been very unhappy with Jon Favreau's vision of Star Wars. She does not want him to bring back Luke and/or Grogu. She wants that out of the picture. Well, that's not her say in the matter. She has no control over that. She can try to counter that by going up with the higher-ups over at Disney, but it's not going to get her anywhere in the long run. Grogu is a big seller. A lot of fans love the character, a lot of kids love the character, it just works. Not only that, Luke is now central to The Mandalorian, and that is Jon and Dave's plan, because they're going to actually be having Luke placed within the very center of this new expanded universe. Basically what Jon and Dave are trying to do, alright, this is the bigger picture here. What they're trying to do is that they are trying to create their own real version of the quote-unquote Star Wars legends that focuses on the younger days of Luke Skywalker's life and everything that happens around him. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be focused on him all the time, but most of what's being made, at least right now, is going to be post-Return of the Jedi material. I mean, think about it. The reformed version of Rangers, Mando Season 3 and 4, alright? We've also got aspects of the Book of Boba Fett that's going to take place after Return of the Jedi. It's also going to have flashbacks that take place a little bit before that. And not just that, alright, we also have other TV shows in the works that are also going to be post-Return of the Jedi material. So this is a big deal. You know, this really is a big deal because it tells the fans that what Jon and Dave are doing is that they are trying to show their passion. They're trying to make it very clear that they care about the Star Wars fans. Now, Jon Favreau being in this panic mode and how he's saying how he really begs for the fans to sit tight and just hang tight to see what he and Dave have in store, I think it just goes to show that, yeah, Jon is very, very much afraid that maybe his work is going to go unnoticed. But listen, I mean, as long as it's really well done and it's going to be that eye-popping and grand, I think that a lot of fans are going to turn back and watch that, as long as it's really that amazing. Let's not forget, guys, and make no mistake, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, is that they are bringing in aspects of the Thrawn trilogy from Star Wars Legends, and also Star Wars Dark Empire, into Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, and even shows beyond that. That's all going to borrow aspects. So basically, they don't necessarily have to make a Thrawn actual dedicated trilogy, but they will be throwing in a lot of that story into the actual other TV shows to kind of just create new material, create new storylines that are mixed with the old, and basically we're getting a hybrid Star Wars Legends coming our way by Jon and Dave. That to me is actually very exciting. That to me tells the fans that, or tells, you know, the fans that obviously Jon and Dave are really going to do everything that they can. Now, I really do feel bad for Jon Favreau, I will be honest. There's a reason as to why I feel bad for him, is because let's just look at what he did with The Mandalorian Season 2, alright? He cared so much to bring back Luke exactly 1 year after The Rise of Skywalker was pretty much a devastating movie to the fandom. A lot of people were not all that impressed. I will agree it's better than The Last Jedi, guys. That's my book on things. My actual opinion on the sequel trilogy is that each and every movie has great bits and pieces. That's about all I like about the sequel trilogy, is that there's a scene here, a scene there within each film that really stands out to me, that's very enjoyable. And that's pretty much what the sequel trilogy has running for it. At least with the prequels, and I know some of you guys out there hate that, at least the prequels felt more like George Lucas's Star Wars, right? But anyways, you know, moving on, guys, I mean, obviously, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, they're going to do an excellent job on Ahsoka. I'm sure that you guys learned that Mena Massoud, we talked about this also, by the way, about a year ago, that he was in the talks to portray Ezra Bridger, and that is now getting close to being made officially announced. We're going to be learning more about the cast of Ahsoka this summer, so stay tuned for that. So what's really exciting about that also is that it's going to tap into more of the fan favorite characters. We talked about how Anakin Skywalker is set to return as a Force ghost in Star Wars Ahsoka, as well as Grand Admiral Thrawn being thrown into the mix, Luke Skywalker coming back, and others. So that's going to be a hit show in my book. So like I've said, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know anything about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.